Welcome to Doom Scroll. I'm Lisa Curry.
Hey, and I'm Matt Sheffield. And as usual, we got a lot of news to discuss today. And I think, the Biden debate with Trump continues to redound, but apparently it didn't change anyone's mind about whether they would vote for him or not. Like, this is, it's almost like being in a mirror world to some degree with Trump supporters. Like, they will vote for him no matter what. But it's like it's party discipline. That's actually what this is. Like if you live outside the United States in the parliamentary system, you vote for the party and not the person, and that's
it's
kind
very
of what it's set for.
It's very akin to religion in that way, and it's why parochial schools can be dangerous, because it's teaching you to obey rather than to what's the alternative I'm looking for. It's not teaching you to like make the best decision possible based on your own thoughts. It's teaching you to just fall in line. And I think that makes a lot of sense for why so many people on the right are very religious. It goes hand in hand. It's the same thought process.
Yeah, I mean, but on the other hand, I mean, ultimately being the president doesn't make all the decisions or even most of the decisions. It is the people who work for him. So I think it's not, like I can see people making that decision. I mean, I'd say almost everybody listening to the show, if somebody gave them a poll and said, who are you going to vote for? Even if they thought Biden should retire yesterday, they would probably still say, I'm going to vote for him. Because of the party and the advisors.
Maybe, but I also know a lot of people that are in blue states between New York and California that are like, oh, I'm not voting for president. I'm so angry at Biden. And if he stays in, I'm not voting. And I think at this point, if he stays in with so many people furious at him, if enough people don't vote in the presidential race at all, those people are also less likely to go to the polls in the first place, because people that aren't voting for the president aren't, the down ballot vote isn't as sexy. So he could end up hurting other Democrats down the ticket in every state.
Yeah, no, it's true. And that's pretty much seems to be what a lot of House Democrats are concerned about. And now Nancy Pelosi has privately been saying she thinks that Joe Biden cannot win, and that he's going to endanger the House to the Republicans. And like that's, that is a very serious concern. People are always saying, oh, democracy is at risk. Democracy is on the ballot. Well, if you believe that, then do you want Republicans to win the House? Do you want them to win the Senate? Because that's very possible. And, and it is, there were a couple of reports out saying that the Biden campaign has been running their own polls privately, trying to see whether Kamala Harris would beat Donald Trump. And there was a poll that just came out on the day we're recording this on Thursday from ABC News and the Washington Post, saying that Kamala Harris does 3 points better against Donald Trump. She beats him 49-46, whereas Joe Biden loses 46-47. And
which poll is this?
The ABC News, Washington Post, and the pollster is Ipsos. So
yeah, that's not looking good. And it's also telling that Maggie Haberman is saying that the Trump campaign wants Joe Biden to stay in the race. You don't want your opponent to stay in the race if you think they can beat you. It's really that simple. Unless on the off chance they're saying that to scare us into getting rid of Biden, because they think actually that Biden could win, but that gives them a lot of credit for being playing the 3D chess that everyone keeps saying that Trump is doing, which I couldn't disagree more. When people say he's playing 3D chess, I'm like, the man couldn't play fucking Twister. Stop it.
Yeah, if that's like a synonym for waving a baby rattle, then yeah.
yeah. But yeah, more and more
And
people are calling for Biden to step down, and it's I mean, I have a close friend who is in strong disagreement with me, and they think that me posting anything critical of Biden is quote unquote irresponsible. And I'm like, I might sway two people. But somebody like George Clooney, who just wrote an op-ed in the New York Times saying Biden should step down, who is very politically involved and has lots of money and lots of influence, somebody like him can sway quite a few people. And I think when, older Democrats who've supported the party just to use your phrase and the other phrase, like who've just fallen in line with the party over the years and have supported whoever was on the ticket, when they're speaking up and saying he needs to go, I think we're in trouble.
I mean, I'd say most people, as we have seen in the polls, they vote based on party or ideology, but there's still a sizable percentage of people who don't vote like that. A lot of people who don't have who aren't ideologically motivated, like they are motivated by strength, and like
Mm-hmm.
and so, or strength or whatever, sort of basic instinct, to use the movie
Mm-hmm.
reference, and
Yeah.
like that's what they go for. And
They vote for whoever makes them horny, is what Matt's trying to say. And for a lot of people, it is Trump.
Yeah, which is really disturbing. There's that woman. Have you seen that picture of that woman who has this nasty, dirty T-shirt and it says "Trump Boner Garage"? Have you seen that? It is. I'm gonna make you see that,
I haven't, but I
Lisa.
don't think you need any more than a doggy door for a Trump boner. I don't know if you need a whole garage for that thing. You're probably getting into the ice maker.
Okay, let me see if I can find it here. No, it is absolutely hilarious. Here we go. It's under yeah. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna share it. This is a real picture. This
Matt, she's
woman.
not even wearing a shirt. You said she's wearing a shirt.
Yeah, she
She's
wasn't. I know. I'm misremembering it. Yeah.
topless, and her stomach says Trump boner garage, and then there's an arrow pointing down to, if we're being honest, it's pointing to her belly button. So at least she got the size correct. I think that's what she meant, not the old gash. Love the outfit though. That's a great look. Dog tags, a bikini, a fucking big old beer gut, a lace
veteran
skirt.
hat.
This is strange. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
There is.
This woman has been exposed to a lot of Agent Orange, and she needs to be in care.
Yeah, well, but I think that is reality for a lot of people, and so like they'll vote for whoever is the most vigorous. And and so that's what Biden's up against, and he's had all these problems of people saying that he's not up to the job, he's not mentally capable,
and he's like, yes, I am. As he's trying to make the argument that he's mentally fit enough to be the president, he called Volodymyr Zelensky President Putin and then tried to save himself after the fact. But it's like, there's a lot of people arguing that Biden should stay in, and they're like, oh, he has one slip up. Just because he has a stutter. And it's like, it's not, we all fucking know it's way more than that. The man doesn't just have a stutter. We all voted for him 4 years ago when he just had a stutter. Now if you watch his 2020 debates next to his 2024 debates, it is a massive decline in cognitive abilities. It sucks. I hate it, but that's what it is. Here he is.
Has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway, Mr. President.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
That's what I sound like at night when I'm stoned out of my fucking mind and I'm making no sense. And I again, follow me on Instagram because I do late night stories where I'm stoned and I'm just saying fucking nonsense and laughing and eating chips in bed. That's about where my cognitive abilities are when I'm stoned. Come on, man.
Yeah. And then President Biden, as if mistaking Zelensky for Putin wasn't enough, he decided, he
Something in his brain decided.
yeah, he called Kamala Harris Vice President Trump at a press conference right after the NATO meeting.
I wouldn't have picked Vice President Trump to be vice president, but I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there. Number one.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
But I think she was not qualified to be president. So let's start there.
Yeah.
It's like for everyone that's like, no, he's fine. He's fine. I wish that was the case. I think we're living in a land of delusion saying he's fine. And I think if anything, since the debate, he's only further proven that he is in rapid decline. And
look,
I mean, look, he doesn't seem like he's going to make it to fucking November, 4 months from now, let alone another 4 years.
Yeah. Well, and look, the thing is, let's say he is perfectly fine. Let's grant that. Even if that's true, perception, unfortunately, is still reality for a lot of people. And
unfortunately,
when you keep doing stuff like this, whatever your state is, it doesn't give people confidence in you. Like, this makes people run for the fucking hills, is what it does.
It's also, I have to say, like, this isn't really funny, but people on the left, rightfully so, will criticize Trump for saying nonsensical things. And then Biden says nonsensical things, and we're like, what? He has a stutter. He did not, this wasn't an issue of stuttering. He didn't, that's not what stuttering is. Stuttering is starting to say a name and getting stuck on the name, not forgetting that Trump is not your fucking running mate. And also for all the people that keep saying, I could put my head through a fucking window for everyone that keeps saying, well, you know, why are we calling for Biden to step down when we're not calling for Trump to step down? Because Trump isn't our guy. That's like saying, why are you disciplining your kids when you're not disciplining other kids that act worse? Ooh, because they're not your fucking kids.
And also, we want Trump in jail. Like, we don't want him to resign. We want that motherfucker in prison.
Him in a pit of piranhas. I don't even want him in jail. Okay, I want him in a fucking active volcano. But it's such a brain dead argument to say, well, why are we holding him accountable and not Trump? Because Trump's not our fucking guy. That's why. Because if you're on the left, it is your responsibility to hold your own guy accountable. They're the ones that are not calling Trump to step down. That has nothing to do with us. That doesn't mean we should support whatever candidate, even if we think they're going to lose. Come on, guys. And again, if that was it wouldn't be a big deal. Who cares? But this is constant now. Constant.
Yeah, every day almost. And that's why they haven't done events. Like, we're now seeing this is why he's barely traveled anywhere, barely does addresses to people. You know, but at the same time, of course, we have to say that, you know, Donald Trump obviously is infinitely worse in every single way. And, you know, he's going to have his Republican convention next week, and where he's going to unveil his vice presidential running mate.
Guys, here's a big spoiler, but it's Matt. Okay, you heard it here first. Matthew Sheffield is running for VP on the ticket with Trump. Matt.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, in my book, I talk about how I was offered a job in the Trump administration. I could have worked for Donald Trump.
You could have been the VP on the ticket. You missed
yeah,
out.
yeah, I missed out on almost getting lynched.
Yeah, listen.
There's an opportunity missed.
I would do it for the publicity tomorrow. I don't give a shit. Trump, give me a call.
Okay,
I'm trying to
well,
sell tickets to shows.
okay, all right. Well, you'll have to. I think you're going to have to climb over the bodies of Doug Burgum and Marco Rubio and JD Vance, though.
All right.
And
There's no way Marco
what
Rubio's
a
getting it, I think. He's
you don't
too
think
much of
so?
like a no way. He has the vibe of like a kindergartner who just stole somebody's crayon and is sitting in timeout. Like that's kind of like he just seems like a little boy to me. I don't
Mhm.
think he has any chance. I think there's no way Trump would pick him.
Yeah. Well, especially after he called him Little Marco.
I'm saying.
Trump hit that what you were just talking about when he was running against him the first time.
Do you
And
think Meatball Ron is salty that he can't be Trump's running mate now that he's talked so much shit about
I
him,
don't.
and also he's not on the ticket,
I
or
don't
he's
think he
not in the
wants to
running?
be. I
You don't
think
think he wants to be president? Oh, I think he wants to be king.
No, because he wants to be the president, but not the vice president. Because basically,
Oh yeah.
to be the vice president, you have to sit there and stand behind the guy, and
Yeah.
so that's not his bag, I don't think. But yeah, Doug Burgum, I think that's who Trump's going to pick. Just because he's totally bland, and he looks like a West Wing character, the governor of North Dakota, for people who don't know who that is, and why would you?
He absolutely does look like a yeah. So the governor of 6 people.
Yeah, exactly.
There's more people on the A train in Manhattan currently than there are living in the entire state of North Dakota. If you were a conductor on a train in New York City, you were in charge of more people than Doug Burgum is.
Yeah, no, it's true. And and Trump is, but he's heavily based on appearances, though. And so he doesn't, and there have been some reports saying, so JD Vance, who is the psychopath, incel king senator of Ohio, he has a beard, and apparently Donald Trump, because he's 900 years old, hates beards. And he wants everybody to see his neck scrotum, and he absolutely has one.
Yeah.
And and JD Vance has a beard, and so that's the scuttlebutt in Trump world, is that JD Vance wouldn't get it because of his beard, but also because he's a totally conniving, backstabbing, amoral, nihilistic piece of shit. So
that's one other reason, yeah.
Trump doesn't want anyone who's too much like him. And JD Vance is all of the worst things that Donald Trump is. That's JD Vance, which is really fucked up, by the way. And this is where I have to talk some shit on the liberal establishment. The liberal media establishment in 2017 trotted out. The only reason anyone knows who this asshole JD Vance is that he published this book called Hillbilly Elegy, which was him taking a giant shit on the people of rural Kentucky, and it's saying how they're a bunch of lazy, good for nothing bumblefucks who deserve poverty and deserve addiction. And the liberal media were like, yes, our ostensibly liberal media were like, yes.
Wait, is that what the thing was? Because didn't Ron Howard direct Hillbilly Elegy? I haven't seen it nor read it, so
you missed
wasn't
nothing.
Sure, yeah.
You missed absolutely. It is a total piece of shit book. And the only people who, I would have to wager most people who bought it never even read it, like most bestsellers. But yeah, no, the book, it's just one giant shit on the people that he grew up with, who didn't do anything to him. His hometown people were nice to him. And, and basically he's saying, yeah, they're all a bunch of drug addicted rednecks who deserve to be poor. Fuck them. I got out. and I went into the military, and now I went to Harvard. That's what his book is. And somehow this guy's a populist hero. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my JD Vance rant.
I try not to learn too much about JD Vance, so I don't really know. But good for him for being a published author. Listen, I would love to have Ron Howard direct something I wrote. But that's not happening anytime soon, I don't think.
Well, I guess not. You have to write about drug addicted rednecks, Lisa. Maybe you can get on that.
Listen, I have a lot of firsthand experience growing up in rural Indiana, so got it.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna check up on you.
Right. Awesome. Hey, speaking of rednecks, Republicans they're now adopting this fake moderate language on abortion to try to trick the media so that they can, because so many people have said, even people on the right have said, whoa, hold on, no exceptions for rape or incest or like deformities or anything. That's a bridge too far. And so Republicans are like, oh no. Oh, wait, oh my gosh, did we say that? No, I didn't mean Putin. I meant Zelensky, which is exactly what they're doing with the abortion issue, where Trump is trying to distance himself from Project 2025, even though he would be the figurehead of it. Like, he's not.
And it's run by his old employees, like top to bottom.
That's the thing. It's like even if this isn't his plan, all he is like a dummy for them to use to move their stuff forward. I'm not saying this very eloquently here, but he's not doing anything. He's just doing what his team tells him to do. He's just greenlighting the things they tell him to greenlight. And other than that, like what he says at his rallies and shit doesn't even make any sense or go anywhere.
Yeah, to your point though, they said like Grover Norquist, who was like one of the biggest insiders in Republican politics in 2012, he literally said what you just said. Like, this is their goal of what do they want out of a Republican president.
We don't need someone to think it up or design it. We have a House and a Senate. The leadership now for the modern conservative movement for the next 20 years will be coming out of the House and the Senate. So focus on electing the most conservative Republican who can win in each House seat and the most conservative Republican who can win in each Senate seat, and then pick a Republican with enough working digits to handle a pen to become president of the United States.
And there it is.
Yeah.
That's
but
exactly
also, I have
what
to
you
say,
said.
side note, no one with the name Grover Norquist is a joke name. It sounds like he's another fucking Muppet on Sesame Street. No one with a crazy name like that should be able to be in the public eye at all. Like, you can be maybe a circus performer, and that is it. We can't take you seriously with that name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, of course, that is exactly what they want to do. They want to be the Christian Taliban.
Yeah, and they basically will run a sham wow salesman rapist because people think he's funny.
Yeah, speaking of drug addicted hillbillies, the sham wow salesman.
Yes, that's right.
Maybe a little insensitive. Didn't he die of an overdose? Whoopsie. Anyway.
Well, it was a while ago, so not too soon anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
But so, and we talked about in a previous episode that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said she was going to file articles of impeachment against the right-wing Supreme Court justices, and she has done it.
Specifically Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas.
That's
because
right.
there are cases, there are arguments against them. Like, I hate fucking Kavanaugh and what's her Coney Barrett. I can't stand either of them, but they so far as we know have not taken bribe money from billionaires, which Alito and Clarence Thomas both have.
No, it's like, and they have no accountability, and this is another thing where the Biden campaign has really failed on this, that he could be talking about this shit every fucking day And if he
Every
did,
day.
people I don't think there's probably like 90% of Americans, if they heard that a Supreme Court justice was getting fucking bribes worth millions of dollars, they would be upset about that. They would be upset about
You
it.
would think. You would think. But realistically, I mean, I think that I'm glad that she filed the articles of impeachment. At the same time, it does feel like just a bit of theater.
Well, yeah,
because what the fuck are we really going to do? What are we actually going to do? We're not
the
going to.
Republicans have the House, so
yeah. So nothing. It's really frustrating. And I've said this on here before, and I'll say it again. It's so frustrating to hear people say, like, I believe it was Elena Kagan was saying, people don't have faith in the court anymore. No, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But what? There's nothing I can do about that. Okay. I don't have faith in my parents' marriage. And what?
Well, I mean, but the thing is, most people are not aware, and that's at least the only thing they can do for now.
Yeah.
And that's how you build a groundswell. I mean, that's how you do it. Like, people, when they wanted to get married, who were lesbian or gay, and they were like, why shouldn't I be able to get married? Well, you start the conversation. So this is, I think she, this is all she could do, and she did it. So
yeah,
gotta keep talking about it though. Like, that's the thing. Democrats, I think they like to check the box one time, and they're like, yeah, I wrote an op-ed, I gave a speech, I filed a motion, and it shouldn't end there. You gotta hammer the fucking nail. That's what you gotta do. So, but somebody who is has been hammered down to the ground by Donald Trump is Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley is such a sociopath, I think.
A lunatic. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's banned from the Republican National Committee convention next week. And she's still telling people to vote for Trump. Well, because Trump hates her. And he won't allow her to speak anywhere. And I guess, I presume maybe she can enter the building, but in the past, when a president or like a person running for president has been endorsed by a rival, they let them have a speech at the convention. But Donald Trump is not doing that. And anybody who voted for Nikki Haley because they didn't like Trump, like, you need to see that this is how he treats the person you like, and don't vote for him. Like, even though she has no conscience and no brains, and is just going to sit there and take this shit from him, you don't have to. You can not vote for Trump, or just, vote for somebody else. Like, I don't care who it is. Like, he fucked your candidate over. No way to sugarcoat that. So anyway, I don't know. Like, there should be I want there to be memes about every time that he takes a shit on Nikki Haley, because he's going to do it for her entire life.
I think that there should be, you know what I would love to see, actually, Matt? I would love to see whenever her or one of his supporters in politics is praising him, I think there should be a little chyron on the bottom that is just like a moving list of all the insults Trump has made about that person. I think, because that would just go on, and then you could see somebody in real time saying, oh, I support this man and we need to rally around this man, and then underneath it's like, pig, hideous fat wife, meatball Ron, whatever, just his endless,
and vice versa too, though. You got to have the things they said about him.
Absolutely.
Because, like, that, I mean, that is the thing. Like, how can you, because Nikki Haley, she said all kinds of true things about Trump. Then she's like, yeah, but you should vote for him.
I hate it. I hate it. I mean, but then again, we're kind of in the same boat right now, where we're like, Biden is half dead. Please vote for him. I mean, hey, it's we're fucked. We're super fucked. Hey, speaking of the half dead, you know who's full dead? Shelley Duvall.
Oh, Lisa.
Is that a way to pronounce it?
Oh man.
Really committed to the bit there. She is dead as a doornail. Rest in peace, Shelley Duvall. I think my favorite thing being passed around today that has been passed around before, and you gotta go to Amy Sedaris's Instagram to find this. There is a supercut of all these. I can't remember what kids show she was on, but it's
Fairy
her
tale
introducing herself.
theater.
Yeah, her introducing herself over and over again, and it's so kooky, and it's just like, "Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall. Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall," but it's all these different settings.
Yeah, I
which,
watched
by
that
the
when I
way,
was a
I
kid.
reposted it in my Instagram story. So again, follow me on Instagram for that. But truly, rest in peace to the weirdo of the '70s, the awkward girl of the '70s. The Shining is one of my favorite movies, and she's phenomenal in that. So
yeah, she did a lot of great work. So a good career worth celebrating for sure. But something the people in Texas though are not celebrating. Something right now they got hit with a.
They're not celebrating Shelley Duvall's death, and neither are we.
No.
To be clear.
Yes, fair. Yes. Yeah, want to say that. Yes. But yeah, no, and like our for people in Texas who got affected, especially in the Houston area by Hurricane Beryl, there are over 1 million people with no power right now. And it's because in some part measure because they decided to build their own state power grid and not be connected to the national power grid so that someday they could secede.
They also
they literally did that.
Power. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Well, and they privatized it, which, bit them in the ass a handful of years ago and is happening again. The residents have been forced to use Whataburger's location map to track power outages because the state does not have a power outage tracker available. Greg Abbott, big brain genius, obviously. Good job.
Capitalism succeeds again. The free market at work, baby.
We should definitely make sure utilities are part of the competitive free market. That's great. I love it. Who really needs them?
Who needs reliability or accountability in your public utilities?
No one.
That's for suckers. But then by contrast, we have NASA, the government program, just celebrated the completion of a new mission where they had 4 people spend a year in a simulation of life on Mars. They called it the Dune Alpha Project. And the 4 people have just come out from their isolation. And
I'm just going to say, Matt has no idea how pissed I am about this, but here we are. My friend Tess and I, shout out Tess Barker, have applied multiple times for the NASA simulation projects and have never been chosen. We're both in perfect health. We would be fun as hell. And we're comedians and writers and should be chosen for this because none of these 4 doofuses are going to write about it. I mean, maybe they will. That's yet to be seen. But I can turn over material a lot more quickly as a stand-up comedian. And I would love to have been part of this project. Thanks for nothing, NASA.
Wow. Okay, Lisa, that was a very positive reaction to that. Well, on the other hand, though, like they were away from the entire world for a year, and like, I mean, God, like what a
I'm sorry.
great way.
Are you sticking around for something? Because get me out of here.
Yeah, well, see, maybe if depending on what happens in November, I'll sign up in January of 2025. But but this is the stuff that they have to do. Like, I mean, they plan ahead for every little contingency, and like, when people have these dumb conspiracy theories about NASA didn't land on the moon, and it's like, motherfucker, they are planning for this Mars thing for 20 years. You really think they couldn't pull that off? Come on now.
Some other fun news that's coming up. Cypress Hill and the London Symphony Orchestra have announced a concert together based on the Simpsons joke from 1996 that I missed because even though my family owns a biker bar, I was not allowed to watch The Simpsons because I was told it was too bad.
Are you serious? Oh, you never
Oh
told
yeah,
me that.
I wasn't allowed to watch. Oh, I wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons. I wasn't allowed to watch the Rugrats because my dad said the illustration was poor. I wasn't allowed
Holy
to watch Full
shit!
House because my family said they ran too many reruns. Like they just found any reason. Basically, I didn't watch television as a child.
Rugrats was porn? Lisa.
No. The illustration was poor. My dad said the
What
illustration was
illustration?
bad. The literal drawing of the cartoons, my
The
dad thought it
logo?
was no. The entire show, the Rugrats. My dad did not like the style of animation, and
The
so we
drawing
weren't allowed to
style.
watch it. Mhm.
Okay. Wow.
Because he was a diehard Charlie Brown fan, and he said, "Now that is animation," and I'm like, "Okay, Dad."
I'm just trying to think of what on Rugrats could be pornographic. I don't.
No, not porn. Poor. The drawing was
Well, poor. Okay, sorry. I completely misheard you there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
No, that said, it does turn me on to watch Rugrats. So
Okay, we'll have to leave that one there.
send me your pornographic Rugrats fanfic. I won't understand the reference because I wasn't allowed to watch the fucking shit. Anyway, so I missed that joke, but Cypress Hill, I guess, needs the bump in sales or whatever. They're probably out of money. I don't know what they've been up to the last 40 years, but good for them. Good for them.
I do have to say, like, it is incredible to me how many bands from the 70s, 80s, 90s never stopped going, and also they never added any new songs either. Like, I don't understand how they could do that as a musician. Like, I used in a very long time ago in my own life, I was a musician in my family. A story that people will know at some point in the future, hopefully. But yeah, I can't imagine playing the same songs for 30 years. Oh,
I mean, that sounds odd. Here's the thing. I mean, it's funny because there's this, not saying, it's not that strong, but people in comedy and in music always say that comedians want to be rock stars and rock stars want to be comedians, which, Dave Grohl's done both. So fuck you, Dave. Good for you. But the thing with being a comedian is people aren't like, yeah, do that bit. Like, I mean, every once in a while they will.
Yeah.
So you have to keep writing new stuff, but then, which is frustrating that you have to keep writing new stuff and you can't rely on the hits. But then as a musician, can you imagine? I've seen the Rolling Stones in concert. It was amazing, but it's not like they're playing anything new. They're playing stuff they've been playing for 50 fucking years. And in order to get you to come to the concerts, they have to play it like this is their first time and they're so excited to show you their little recital. And that seems like it sucks.
Yeah. So, hey, I mean, look, this was a different thing for them. I can see why they went for it. And it was, I actually went on the Simpsons, they're all on Disney Plus, and I went and watched that episode. It was it was a good one. This was from the one of the Simpsons classic years, so definitely it was Homer Palooza is what the title was. So if you get some time, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a funny episode. And I guess, but for something that is decidedly less funny in the world of hot dog eating, competitive hot dog eating, that world.
Oh, it's so repulsive.
Yeah.
I love hot dogs, but competitive eating is so disgusting.
It is. And apparently there is a scandal that a guy named Nick Wary, he finished 4th in the New York City's Coney Island hot dog eating contest, but he apparently cheated, or he's accused of cheating by stealing the plate from a competitor. And so according to
by
the allegations,
more hot dogs, I'm very confused.
Yeah, basically, because they measure how many hot dogs you eat by your empty plates. Because they put the number of plates, the same number of hot dogs on every plate. So they count the plates that you ate. And according to him, his score was 51.75 hot dogs, but actually it should have been 46.75. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, so how did he steal somebody else's plate? Right? And don't they sit in a row like in the movie Stand By Me?
Well, that's what I would think. How could you possibly get away with that? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm very confused.
But no, that's what he's accused of doing, is taking the plate from his neighboring. But it says video of so the Daily Beast has the story of, they say video of the competition appears to show Weary loitering around the competition table after the clock hits 0, picking up and twirling a plate before putting it back down. And so that's evidence.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So, how will the sports
shame
survive?
on you, hot dog eater. In other hilarious news, is that why you put this last, Matt? Because it's hilarious.
That's why.
A slain man's thumb was sliced off and used to steal from his mobile payment app. Listen, I don't always disagree with murder. I don't know the circumstances of this man's murder, but what's he doing with his money? He's dead. Fucking take his thumb, get in there, pay for your stuff, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, it's a really strange story. So there was a guy in Washington, D.C. that he was murdered in April. And after he was dead, so the police found his body with his thumb cut off and various lacerations. And then, apparently they had taken his thumb and they were using it. The people who killed him were using it to get into his different places after he was dead for months, I guess, or something. And they used it
I'm going to say good for them.
Yeah, they apparently, so it says over several days, security cameras captured 2 women and 2 men going into the building where he had lived. They used his key fob to get into the apartment and then taking several items as well. And it was I mean, hey, like this, I have to think this stuff like this is going to be a lot more common. This is why you have a password on your phone and you don't.
Well, this is why a lot of people don't do.
This
is why people don't do Face ID, because if you get arrested, the cops had just put people's phones up to their faces and broken into their phones, and it's like, that's still your private property, you know. I don't have any kind of Face ID on anywhere. I think it's very spooky. And for the record, when I die, take all of my money. I don't have kids. Go for it. You can have all of it. I don't care. As a matter of fact, I had not too long ago, my credit card was compromised. And, you know, I see a thing that was like, did you just spend money at Burger King? And I was like, no, I haven't had Burger King since the fucking 90s. And then I saw that they had only spent like $1.65. And look, I know the scam, usually they spend something little to see if you catch it, and then they spend something big. But like, if you've fallen on tough times and you need a couple bucks for Burger King, just go for it. Take my debit. I'll put my debit card number in the comments.
Okay.
Have a nice time. I don't have too much money, but look, if you need $2 to make it through lunch, then go for it. Take it.
But only if you subscribe on YouTube or give us a rating on Apple.
Yeah. Exactly.
Otherwise, Lisa's offer does not apply to you. You dirty motherfucker. So yeah. All right. Well, that is our last story for the day. We've reached the end of the internet once again, and
thank you so much.
We've already given
listening.
and we've already given the pitch to follow and subscribe and all that stuff. So, but don't forget at Doom Scroll Show. And at Nat Sheffield as well.
Yeah, and at Olympian Lisa Curry on TikTok, Instagram, and Venmo.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go then. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.